Hello everyone, I hope you are well and hopefully your day has been just starting with calm and ease and so forth. I will be talking about these harder issues and if it's not your cup of tea, please do something better with your time, with your life. But I will be diving to the narcissism, the stress, frustration, anger rates, and kind of other stages that are leading to revenge. But I'm not really talking about the, revenge, just, what happens within their energetic system, and the signs, some external signs and stuff like that. So you can divide the narcissism in two main categories. This is in Western medicine as it is also in Chinese medicine. There is that overt type, which would be, of course, young type, or you could say liver young type, because it is a massive liver imbalance. And then the covert would be liver yin type narcissist. So they both have very different energetics. Of course, when the imbalance grows extreme, the young type will get also the more damaging manifestations from the covert energetics. And these are just, some models that I have kind of received understanding. So the young type narcissism, so we are talking about, the classical grandiose to malignant towards the psychopathy. So irritation, and this would be liver young type of narcissist. So irritation, frustration, stress, anger, rage. When we are talking about the narcissism, it is very, very massive liver imbalance, and this is wood element in Chinese medicine. So in wood element we have liver and gallbladder organs, and those who don't know that much Chinese medicine, the organs are the whole network. It is not just a physical organ, it is the energetics, like the external pathways, internal pathways, the emotional makeup, like certain body tissues and stuff, like actually absolutely everything within you, who you are, from physicality, chemistry, and the psychology, emotional models, like absolutely everything can be divided into these 5 elements. But I kind of have dropped things out, but it's just kind of how things have been unfolding, the understanding, the energetics and stuff. They seem to be in line with the Chinese medicine, so that's why I am sharing these. But of course it would be great to actually do work together with a proper Chinese medicine practitioner and actually put a more detailed version together in relationship with the narcissism. So anyway, the young type of narcissist, so the overt type, it is more like gallbladder meridian system, like that is the young meridian system from the wood element. And then of course the problems within the stress and anger actually starts to manifest first on gallbladder meridian. Especially it seems to be that the neck and occiput area seems to be tightening, like quite extreme, to the extreme discomfort. And from here it spreads along the pathway of the gallbladder meridian, tightening the whole meridian pathway in or on the head. Like those who know, it kind of it runs kind of a zigzag around the head, from the neck to the front of the head and just above the eye, and then around the ear and so forth, and then to the corner of the eyebrow. Was it? I think it was eyebrow or the eyes. My humble apologies, I probably should have checked it out before starting this. But anyway, it is that the side of the head and the side of the whole body, and kind of those rotational movements and stuff are governed by the gallbladder meridian and that type of energetic system. Of course, the judgment is there, and healthy judgment would be balanced, but in case of the narcissism, there ain't no healthy judgments. It is always completely off-balanced compared to the situation and so forth. But we will go to those different day a little bit more. So the whole gallbladder meridian on the head starts to be very, very tight, uncomfortable. They start to be more and more irritated as this tightening starts to kind of grab hold of them more and more and more. And this is also causing the slight tightening of the teeth, and you can probably start to if it's long term anyway, or in certain specific words what they use, you can definitely start to hear this, like the way people start to pronounce sometimes R word, at least in Finnish, but also like in other languages, like you can really start to almost feel the pulking of the muscles and the tightening and so forth. And of course this condition will start to affect also to the eyes, so they get headache and eye ache and tightness in around the mouth, around the jaw area and so forth. But this pressure will also start to build internally, and more blood and more chi is pumped into the head. But there is a way more healthier energetic with the young type narcissist than with the covert narcissist in place. As the energy still, even when it also moves strongly inside the body, it still moves like in head, it kind of goes more outside, like between the skull and brain to the center, to the highest point, and between the hemisphere it kind of sinks down. So it's kind of like cycling inside the body. So it starts to cycle. It's not shooting to this one straight spot, which can be quite damaging if it's kind of a built-in system and long-term and stuff like that. It probably can, of course, this both, like all conditions, unhealthy conditions, will open the door all sort of problems in long term. But this definitely feels more healthier model as the chi and energy and blood circulation, although it is unbalanced, it still starts to cycle more rather than just shoot on one spot or certain area and, giving that kind of a rageful outburst much earlier. So there is almost like a process which is, if not stopped, then leading to that point also. So the whole head becomes pressurized first externally through the gallbladder. Of course, the bladder and dew meridian and other young meridians will join this movement and tightening and so forth. But then the tightening also, or the movement and pressure and excess amount of chi and blood start to pulsate into the head also. But like I said, there is fairly healthy cycle, if you can say healthier cycle in place than the covert would have, where the anger is arising basically from the liver to the left side of the brain, to the left hemisphere, to the depending on probably the posture and stuff, to the frontal lobe, left frontal lobe and so forth. Like and the more it turns into from the anger to the rage, so it's kind of like there is a little bit bigger area where it can move depending on, but as when it moves towards anger, it really starts to be more like straight bullet line. In covert cases, and of course the overt would follow this if the if the condition is let to go to the stage of rage. So there is also like different manifestations within between the young so the overt narcissism, and the yin, the covert narcissist. So the yang type, grandiose towards malignant and psychopathy, although probably covert can also become quite malignant and psychopathic. I would assume if, it depends how the system and is kind of what direction they are developing. But I have understood that both of them can definitely move towards the malignant and psychopathic stages. And especially if they are let to be loose and power over other and so forth. And this is where you see the cult leaders getting towards. I mean, they start more often almost like grandiose type. But they shift more towards malignant and psychopathy and so forth. So there is this stage, and same you actually see also with other narcissists. Like the longer they live, the more possibility, if it's kind of very strong, the more possibility there is that they really start to go and dive and explore all possible dirty and problematic behavior models and stuff, because it is that liver which is unchecked and it is just expanding, and depending on the situations that come in their lives. I mean, the longer they live, the more damage they have done to the people, the more there are people that they might want to confront this person, and the more anger and irritation, the more manipulation, control, domination they have to put in place to try to control and keep everything in place. This becomes extremely stressful and driving their more malignant, more cruelty and more psychopathic ways of functioning, just to keep everything in place, in check, which is impossible. I mean, they can't even control their own emotional model, let alone controlling all the other outside factors from their lives. Impossible, but they are deluded in this way, so they will do their best. So yeah, they will grow in extremely problematic direction, especially in cult-like systems like the cult leaders and stuff. This seems to be the most normal progression for these people, unfortunately. Let's pray they can change their ways, at least some of them would get some wisdom within them. So with a young, grandiose type, there will be that slight bulging of the eye outwards, like the top of the eyelid starts to rise, like the whole eye just kind of opens a little bit wider, and you can feel like when if you are the target, you say something, even if it would be a joke they would have done earlier on with the teachings and stuff. But you mentioned that when they have very difficult time and it's triggering them, you could not even it was a joke that everybody were using on certain time. So you kind of say this, and the eyes, whoa, it's quite you can definitely feel it, the anger, boom, it is there, and their eyes. And then at the same time, if it's a public space, and they know, perhaps also get understanding that you really didn't mean any harm, it's not your style, nor was that joke ever used that way. So they will get control of them in that after that reaction, when they kind of realize they are in public space and stuff, and the quick analyzing that she's not really the threat. At that time I wasn't threat to him. I suppose now I have been after confronting from narcissism. Anyway, so it's very different, because the covert version of the anger and rage and stuff, they actually have the opposite, and this happens also with the young type, later on when they start really go deep to the revenge cycles and stuff. But at the early stages of anger and rage or stress or irritation and stuff like that, and even later, there are different roads that it can take. So yeah, the yin, the covert narcissist, would actually come kind of tighten all the muscles around the ears, not ears, the eyes. My humble apologies. So it's very different. The other is like in, like the anger, and that is kind of in, and you can. The energetic, you can see it and understand. If you understand, like they already start to kind of make the revenge, but the young type is like out there, and it has like more almost like freedom and possibilities in which direction they will take it. Will they let go? Was it that way? Will it kind of cycle and strengthen all the way up to the this kind of yin type also, that there is that like revenge is going to come there no matter what, and they really shift to something quite terrifying. So it's quite interesting if you understand the energetics, what happens to the young type of narcissist, the overt narcissist. If you get the energetics, like how, when we have the normal view, our view is like spreading to the whole space. If we're quite hard-based and, we have that healthy communication and stuff. But when that anger hits, and it kind of zooms, and it's like in that second. So you can, from the energetics of the eyes, what happens to them and how piercing it is, you can understand that the same happens within their mind. They become very, very narrow-minded. So of course, if this is not released, then it will go, of course, in extremely problematic direction, because the narrower your mind, the view, I'm talking both the physical view of the sights, because that is what happens, but also like how the mind works. So there ain't much other stuff fitting in their heart than or their mind than what comes to that anger and rageful state. Like all is just around that. I mean, they can become quite calm, cool, collected, and so forth, especially if they do start to move more to that psychopathic state. So, and this is quite interesting in a way, like when it moves to that coolness, coldness, like it's almost like there is like extra force, power, strength coming into their being. And I think they love this state, because before this, they were not controlled at all within their body, energetic emotions, or anything like it. It was so much discomfort, bodily discomfort, tightening, irritation, like everything was just like huge mess. But then suddenly something cool creeps hold of them, and they become extremely powerful within how they feel themselves. Very cool, very cold, strong energetics. It's almost like a breeze, of cold breeze when they walk past you. But it doesn't feel actually dangerous if you are in class or something like that. But you do feel that coldness. But there is also like, almost like that the energetic is structured and gathered, and it's directed, and it's not like that messy, angry, spiking all over the directions. So I suppose this is what the psychopathic state where narcissist slips, and this is like where they start to have their deeper fantasies of the revenge for a particular person, but they are like so gathered within that thing, and the energetics are weirdly harmonizing and strengthening that state of being. And if you have the something like this view within the spirit realms, as I have, like each emotional model we generate and stuff, there is kind of almost like spiritual component or reflection. Like if I'm full of love, then there is a certain type of spiritual interference or kind of influence. Yes, influence is way better into me. But of course, all the other emotional models have different. That's why when in Christianity, they, when Jesus was teaching, giving the Sermon of the Mount, when he starts, blessed are poor in spirit. Poor in spirit. What does this mean? It means you should abide in spirit of truth. No other spirits, states of being, which are, often problematic and lower level and will lead you all sort of destructive ways in so many different ways. So you really want to abide in one. Blessed are poor in spirit. I mean, that is what it means, literally. And of course, narcissists are famous of having multiple faces and stuff. So they are, you could say, channeling or cultivating multiple different spirits. So that's why they are not blessed within the path with the God. But they have like other, like this world is full of other spiritual systems too, which might be more suitable for these type of people who have struggles in this way, if they cannot submit their will under the God. I mean, I believe that would be actually the healing power, healing possibility for them. Sorry, I was not meant to go to this direction. It will be separate lectures or talks or podcasts. So my humble apologies. So anyway, this excess chi moving inside the body, first the externals, then the internals, causes like, the eye opening. First, the tightening of the gallbladder meridian and stuff, and then the movement also moves inside, but it also sinks down. Then, the eyes are, there is that excess energy, chi focus in their eyes, so they kind of are wide open, and the earbrows are also slightly risen up. But this, of course, similar happened to the healthy excitement too. So it's not that if all people look like, some people look like this, it's not a sign. It's just like kind of what happens quite often within these people. But of course, these similar type of stuff can happen multiple different ways, like the excitement from heart. It can, if it's like more love that is soothing and calming and relaxing, you get almost like eyelid starts to actually go down, like in Buddha statues or the meditators quite often when you talk to them or see them or when they are talking and so forth. But of course, expression of passionate love, which is really, really like moving, inspiring, like where the art is often created and so forth, poetry and many other stuff. Of course, poetry can be actually created from other stages of love too. Then you kind of have that similar expression in the eyes and earbrows. Everything is kind of a wow opening outside. And of course, within the narcissist, there will be a lot of movement within the eyebrows and the eyes and so forth, up and to the sides, and then the center of the eyebrows might going down, like the judgmental look and so forth. The Tian-2 area starts to get quite blocked. The Tian-2 is just, the throat, so they kind of get that plum chi syndrome in Chinese medicine, related to also liver stagnation. Of course, this is not the psychopathy state, because that would release them, because something moves and opens and harmonizes. So these are the stressful situations before those stages, if it moves that far. So yeah, and this was the stage where all the young meridian, especially starting from gallbladder, bladder, do meridian, and taking other young meridians with it also, starting from head and spreading to the whole body. And there will be, of course, a lot of restlessness and stuff if the energy is not channeled into something useful. So this energetic model is way more healthier than the covert, the yin, liver yin type of narcissist. So of course I don't actually have that detailed model here to the covert, but it suits from the liver to the left side of the hemisphere, and it's kind of a more like straight line. Of course it's more, if it's just anger, it's kind of a wider area, and of course the facial expressions are more like the eyes are tightening in, and there is like different type of it's almost like evilness in a way, because I think they immediately probably start to kind of think and ponder on about revenge in different way. Like covert might just use humor and kind of put other people down in kind of a humorous way, which is harder actually to perhaps spot. I mean, the covert will do the same, but there is a level of meanness quite often there, which is quite spiking in different way. And this is also what happens to the eyes. And they literally sometimes feel that they are almost sending like lightning, not that like zooming into you, which is very, very strong and directed there, but almost like this spiteful, like, I don't know how to explain, but you probably know. It's quite disturbing. Like this all eye, if it's directed to you, of course. So these persons both will start to have, of course, micromanagements if they are publicly and they can't really show their anger rates and so forth. But the models, how they kind of hide, or which way the energetic information is hidden into the body is different, because the young type has kind of this almost like rotational movement that starts to take in place, but the covert kind of often they might hide the emotional stuff in their back, and this might even show in their body structure. So the spine might be how do you call like the thoracic spine, and that area is kind of bulking, almost like the people who are working with laptop quite well, similar kind of a posture, but they are actually hiding their emotions to the back, literally. So, but I will kind of go there later on a little bit more. This is more about the face and the headache and the, these type of stuff for today. So of course the smile, there is all sort of tightness already created into the head area and inside the head and to the neck and so forth. So of course this will affect also if they are public figure and talking and so forth to the smile. So the smile starts to be depending on the stress level, slightly tight or a lot tight. Like sometimes if it's very, very, if there is a proper anger rising, actually the tightness is so much that when they smile, it's almost like tick movement running from the corners of the mouth to the ears. Like there would be string of the guitar, and when you tap it, there is like that sort of a wave, almost kind of a tick movement coming from the corners of the mouth to the ears. Like you can see the tightness. So of course the stress could be from whatever reason, but something is definitely moving towards the anger when this starts to happen. So I have covered how the energy moves more to the, between the skull and the brain, and then scoops following the structure of the skull, and then scoops down, and this give the more healthier cycle. And probably like they could sort themselves out or one way or the other. And probably some of them, if they do have that possibility, probably this is one state they would want to have sex with you if you are in a romantic relationship, to balance their emotional models, because they need somebody else to balance. Of course, becoming argumentative with someone would be one way to like get rid of this excess energy and stuff. And of course it can lead to all sort of different directions. Probably sports, going into the nature, would be probably something very useful for them. But can they do it? Can they take themselves away from the situation and go to do something, jogging, or go into the nature and try to balance themselves with that? No. I would hope they could, but probably most of the times they probably need some external source, another human being, to either balance one way or the other. So young overt narcissist, tightening of the neck, head, bladder, gallbladder, do meridians, and of course the starting. The movement and the tightness and the eye ache and the whole face starts to get quite tight, and you can see this from their smile and laughter. It is very different than they would have normally, like the stress does to all people. But the more there is this liver anger kind of moving, and especially in Neigong systems, people that come from these type of systems, because they have built so much more chi, which is also emotional movement, like it really becomes quite extreme in these cases. I mean, they are enhancing their emotional model. Everybody are, whatever they have. So it is way worse, and you can see it much more strongly perhaps within practitioners. So this state, if they don't get calm one way or the other, but they will more move towards that psychopathy state where the energy takes very, very different shift. They become very cool, very cold, very collected, very, very focused, and their energy and their eyes and their look can fully change, especially if it's kind of like they have had enough and something is almost like taking over them. You could actually say that this is what the Christianity could talk. And the view I have also in relationship with that different stages of being, like the cosmos around us, there are all sort of beings and they are affecting. So this would be the Satan affecting this person to me. No, but seriously, it's quite clear, because something extra, their whole messy system becomes something very, very different. And I think they really love this state. I think they are almost like God Almighty and so powerful. And they really start to be like almost like a soldier that has a mission to do. And they are putting all the focus to that. And nothing will stop these people at this stage. They will do their plan and they will do the execution, whatever it may be. So they don't actually work from anger and rage like the narcissistic rage would be. This is completely different state, like psychopathic state, like Sam Vaknin is talking about. So this is very different. What happens to the religious practitioner, but you could kind of compare it that opposition happens, like religious practitioner from the love, devotion and so forth, from truth, connects to the insight and hopefully gets divine intervention, from that sort of insight and vision, like broad vision of something that is beneficial to the whole humanity. I mean, that's where the plan starts to be when you have that divine intervention. It has nothing to do with you. It is all about to do with us, the whole humanity or the society being as a one whole unit, That's what love does. So this is very, very different. There is like narrowing of the mind, but extreme focus and so forth. But the vision is destruction of that person, one way or the other, but with extreme calmness and collectiveness. So this would be, I suppose, the opposition that happens, but a similar process. Something out from their body is giving the view for them, and the strength for them, taking their weak, insecure, fearful core away and giving this extra strength that they are almighty, all powerful and stuff. And I do believe this is why they get so hooked to these stages and these cycles and stuff, because the anger and rage can give already like that they are in control, especially in young type, when it starts to cycle inside their body. I mean, that can be extremely powerful, and especially these type of stages when there is something else moving and fully changing who they truly are into something else. That's why some of the views are, it is like something else taking over them. And this is also, well, of course, narcissistic traits can be that also. I mean, there is so many different stages, but this is something very, very different. And the face is quite interesting also, because what happens with the eyes and the eyebrows and stuff, it really is almost like something else moves into their being, into their brain, into that which gives the control and so forth. Have I talked too much already, too long time? Yeah, perhaps I will leave it there this time and see if I can do a video kind of explaining how this goes. Thank you for your time, and my humble apologies. I kind of do tend to spread around too much from the subject, so I will try to make it more tight and more easy to follow. Thank you for your time. Bye bye.